One's a Chiefs fan, the other's a Pats fan, and together they make Primetime Dimes.
What is up, my fellow football fanatics? Welcome back to episode 6 of Primetime Dimes, your weekly source for surviving the offseason and breaking down the headlines during the season. I'm one of your hosts, Megan, and alongside me, as always, is Chelsea.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
How are you? Are you having a better week this week?
Yeah, significantly better.
That's good.
I guess I should fill in the audience as to why we truly were late last week. Ultimately, I had a lot of car trouble on Tuesday of last week, and it was just the day that would not get better no matter how hard you tried. So it was the quicksand day. And basically it started with a flat tire at 9 a.m. and ended with me writing off the car because it was about $3,000 in damage, and I didn't pay that much for the car. Not going to spend that much on the car. And then it was so funny because I think it was midway through the day that I got that news. So then I had to figure out how I could have a car to be able to do what I do in a day.
And like, for the record, nobody was injured, by the way. I got like a text in the middle of the day being like, oh, this happened, and I have to write off the car, and then this happened. And I'm like, did you roll into a ditch? Are you okay?
Yeah, you're thinking the worst has happened?
Yeah.
Well, I texted you at 5 a.m.
2 hours.
Middle of the day? No, it was the middle of the night.
Oh, it was the middle of the night?
Yeah, I messaged you at like 5 a.m. because I got home at 12:30. Like, Ryan and I got home at 11, sorry. Then we realized we had left our house key in his parents' car that we had been borrowing to go get the car that we were then going to borrow for a week. And then got home at like 12:30. I may have napped at some point, but my dog woke me up at 5 a.m. and I was like, oh, we haven't edited the show yet. Oh, no. Okay, I need to message Chelsea. So I messaged you at 5 a.m. Yeah. And I understand that saying I wrote off my car immediately sounds bad, but at 5 a.m. I was telling you literally everything what was happening. But my apologies to the listeners and you that it wasn't edited. As I said, we had a very long Tuesday, and then Ryan, bless his soul, couldn't edit after that day. Everything was going wrong, and so he unfortunately couldn't get to it until after work on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And then I posted it immediately, but yeah, life happens. Thankfully, we're still able to post on Wednesday, but I have so many feelings over that week and that day. It's been nuts, but really I have even more or even stronger feelings over the fact that did you see today that the Broncos cut Juwan James?
I know you have some feelings about that.
I'm so angry just because that this all occurred after he suffered an Achilles injury while working out out of facility, which if I stop the story there, then yeah, it's fair play. You're doing something out of the facility. It's your own risk. You should have your own insurance to make sure that you're covered for this. But I think it was a week earlier, you had the players saying that they were not going to participate in voluntary off-season workouts because they didn't feel that there was adequate safety measures in place at the Broncos facility in Denver. And at that time, Denver also was experiencing a spike in cases. So it wasn't necessarily that he was trying to go against his contract or do anything. It was he and his fellow teammates had decided that they were going to not go to the facility. Therefore, he wasn't going to break that. I just think it sucks that he was working out for his job, damaged his Achilles, which means,
this is not something small.
He's gone for the year. Like, he will not play this season because of that injury.
This is not like, I sprained my ankle, I'm not going to make it to preseason. Like, no, he is done.
Yeah, and so he was cut, and they're going to void his $10 million salary that was guaranteed because it only becomes guaranteed June 1st. Yeah.
That's my God.
So
That's not cool.
I hate it. And I think in a season that any other season, this doesn't happen. But because we are experiencing the salary cap crunch from COVID,
yeah,
here's another casualty of it. And I hate to see it. I hated seeing it when it would happen, very rarely, but when it would happen in years previously, I don't like that. You know, I can work and hone my craft here at home. I can work at my house and not worry that my job and my salary is going to be impacted. If, you know, let's say I'm doing a stupid little science experiment and I here I could mix vinegar with baking soda, right? We all know that that's going to cause the volcano eruption. Well, if it went wrong, it could actually harm you. You are still mixing too. Nothing severe, but it could be dangerous. Or if I were to throw a strip of magnesium ribbon into water, it causes an explosion. That's what those two materials coming in contact does. I can go out and buy magnesium strips and I can throw it into a puddle here. And, you know, that's a cool explosion. That looks cool to, you know, my nephew or any of my cousins that I'm training in science. But if that backfires and hurts me, they're not going to tell me not to show up at my lab. They're not going to do any of that stuff. And so it's just like, well, this dude's just trying to make sure that he's ready for the season. And it happens. It's not like he was roughhousing or if he was out drunk and in a fight at a bar. Like, I just hate to see it. You even have normally workman's compensation. And who knows, maybe Denver does right by the dude and helps him get through the recovery and covers those costs. But $10 million is $10 million. And I don't care if this dude's already a millionaire.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But after that, the rest of this week's NFL news doesn't have me quite as hot.
Okay.
It's a lot of the boring part of the off season is going to start to happen, and you're just going to see little plays, like very minor players moving back and forth. We have Marquis Lee, who was a wide receiver for the Jaguars, going over to the 49ers. That makes sense. Gives them another quick wide receiver. The Bengals signed an ex-49ers slot receiver or wide receiver, Trent Taylor. So there you go. That's just another, just a WR3 moving. It's going to happen. We'll see more of those this offseason. Actually, there was one that I did want to get, wanted to point out explicitly to you after our Tim Tebow talk last week. We have another player, Kelvin Benjamin, who used to play for the 49ers as a wide receiver. He's signing with the Giants to play tight end, and he last played in 2018. So here's another instance where we have a player turning to tight end. And why I want to point that out to you is actually I want to ask, do you think this is now a trend that we're going to see? Because you had Gronkowski coming out of retirement only because now he stayed a tight end, but he only came out because he was promised the blocking duty. He was going to be in charge of managing the line with his offensive linemen. So I wonder if that's what Benjamin's being brought in for. I wonder, we know that Tebow's probably coming back to the Jaguars, like almost 99.999% positive he's going back. He's going and being promised to be a blocking tight end. My interest is kind of peaked on, are we going to start seeing very highly intelligent players coming back just to block and make sure they know they're ready for this trick play, because we're seeing these trick plays being carried out so much more.
Yeah, I think we will see a bit more of this because tight end isn't like it's very versatile, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
saved it.
Like that. That's why I was like, what's the word? No, it's like if you're gonna come back and you're not at the caliber that you used to be, but you can play tight end, like why wouldn't you switch over to that position?
It's funny.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny to see the disparities between tight ends in the league right now, because you have the highly skilled ones, the Travis Kelce, George Kittle tight ends.
But it's like, that's it, right? There's like, name four.
Well, I mean, then you also still
you
have,
could.
yeah, I could. TJ
like,
Hawkinson, Rob Gronkowski.
Do you know what I take it back. But I mean, I guess more or less, like, there aren't as many big name tight ends as there are running backs or wide receivers. So like I guess it's easier to like get a bit more of the spotlight as a tight end, especially if you're like one that's coming back that hasn't played in a while. Like people are going to want to watch that.
Yeah. Do you think it will be the older players coming back as blocking tight ends, or are some of these younger players going to get more of a shot?
I think that's all just going to depend on their build. Like it's really just going to depend on like like you used to play wide receiver, but are you built to play tight end? Because like Tyreek Hill could never play tight end. He's like far too small to play.
Oh my
right?
God, I just pictured little man. Oh, but he'd be a quick,
Like,
speedy guy.
I don't think it matters like if you're old or young. I think it's just like that tight end build. Like if you're built for that, why wouldn't you go and play it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just really ironic that after we were talking about Tim Tebow switching over to tight end, we have a wide receiver switching to tight end, a little more parallel of a move as opposed to going from quarterback to tight end, but
yeah,
still. And then there was just, a couple cleaning up. You have Ryan Kerrigan signing with the Eagles. Shout out to the Eagle fans that listen. After 10 seasons with Washington. I just want Boy to do well. Like you spent 10 seasons in Washington. Okay. Hopefully you get to experience a little more success.
I guess one, he'll be used to the disappointment if the Eagles flop. Two, maybe the Eagles won't flop this year. Like they have made a couple good moves this offseason so far to fill those pieces that they've been missing, and maybe he's seeing this as like I can do something here. So I think like I said, I don't think he's gonna be mad if like things don't work out there, because he's been on Washington for so long and nothing ever works out on Washington. I guess we'll see when September comes for that one.
Yeah, and then another players on the move from the Chiefs heading over to the Buccaneers, because of course the Buccaneers need more players. So we have Antonio Hamilton moving over on a 1-year deal. He's a cornerback. It's great for me as a someone who does watch the Bucs play because of Brady. It's seen them shore up the quarterback position is nice. I don't think it was necessarily needed, but
yeah,
good on them.
I feel like every time we do like off season or like free agency update, the Bucs are always making a move, and I'm like, how much money do you have? I don't know, like where did their cap space come from? I don't know, like I didn't do much research on it, but like I feel like they're always picking up players. Like it's just something I always come across. So I'm just like, what is going on there?
It's so funny to watch because the gentleman who's in charge of the salary cap is just a whiz with numbers. This dude, like I've looked into what he's been able to do, and yes, it's a lot of voidable years or signing bonuses over cap hit or over salary, because salary is what generates the cap hit. So it's just a lot of playing with that, and what Tom Brady was famous for doing in Patriot land and likely will continue doing for the Buccaneers is he'd kick his salary further down. So he knows he's going to get that money. It's just when he gets it is up in the air. So you could have a high signing bonus, low actual cap hit. And he's just the salary cap dude is just really good at doing it for the Buccaneers. The thing that I'm most intrigued to see is the fallout of whatever he has done to make this work. right? Because earlier this week, the GM for the Buccaneers has said that Tom Brady can play until Tom Brady is done playing, right? So he even said, he's like, if Tom Brady wants to play till he's 50, Tom Brady can be a Buccaneer
Could you
until
imagine?
he's 50. Oh, I think there's two things I could see happening with Tom Brady. This year, I think, is his best chance to get that perfect season. So if Tom Brady goes 20-0,
are you going to bet on it again?
20-0, 21-0. 3 games, yeah, 20-0.
Don't ask me, I can't do math.
Because it would be 17-0 during the season, and then it would be 3 games to win the cup. Sorry, I was just watching hockey to win the Super Bowl. So yeah, 20-0. If he goes 20-0, he's done. He will walk. That is how he would retire.
If he retires.
That is when he retires. If he doesn't go doesn't have a perfect season in the next couple of years, I think he plays until he's 50. Like, I think he'll just try and set every single record he can and be like, fine, perfect. Because like, he has previously said that he doesn't care if he plays and sucks while he's playing. He's like, I will play and suck. So cool. And so you have,
but like, do you want to watch him suck?
Do I want to see him suck? God, no. Absolutely not. Will I watch him suck? Absolutely, I will.
Like, if I were him, I wouldn't want to.
He doesn't care, though.
Okay.
He doesn't care, and that's why I like him. Like, this is why I've been a Brady fan, or have continued being a Brady fan. Is like, you can tell he just doesn't care about. It's not about the accolades to him. It's about playing. It is that competitive drive for him to play, and I want him to play to 50 because everything, including science, says he shouldn't play till he's 50. How is he doing it? Like, this is the shit I like. It's the same reason why Connor McDavid getting to 100 points in hockey this past season when he should not have been able to in a shortened season. I like athletes doing things that they shouldn't be able to do. It's fun. It's so cool for me to watch. So bringing this back to the actual point of it was, I want to know what's going to happen in the next 3-4 years with this salary cap stuff he's made, because you can tell, similar to what other teams tend to do when they bring in a bunch of talent and try and go for the Super Bowl, is they spend a lot of money and they use a lot of their cap in 3 years, and then they pay for it after those 3 years. And it's like, well, if Brady's going to be there until they're 50, he's still going to be able to bring in talent. So what has the salary cap guru done, and why haven't other teams been able to do it beforehand? And what are other teams going to do? That dude may have just changed the game for his side for the salary cap in leagues. And I'm talking leagues intentionally. I mean, this is going to carry over into other major sports. But then you have a very exciting last point to the NFL news, for you at least. Like, your boy
Yes, I do.
Your boy's going through rookie mini camp right now. So T-Law is playing for the Jaguars.
Round.
And he is looking mighty good in the teal, let me tell you.
Yep, he's 3 months out from his shoulder surgery. He's looking good. Doesn't look like it's affecting him, so I'm really excited. ETN was out there as well because he got drafted from Clemson to the Jags as well. I mean, I won't shut up about it, so everyone already knows.
Well, did you see what was happening? Like, I'm surprised I caught the controversy. I wasn't sure if you did, but Urban Meyer, who's the coach of the Jaguars, came out and said that Etienne was only going to be taking snaps as a receiver this entire rookie minicamp, as well as potentially all off season. And he's like, the worst case scenario from this situation is that I have a highly skilled running back that also can play or that has receiver skills.
Yeah, and he does,
got
like, I've seen it.
roasted.
Who?
Urban Meyer got roasted by other players in this, like teams in this league.
What?
Oh, it's a
Why?
terrible thing you're doing. No, you don't assume.
And he can do that.
Yeah,
Like,
but you
can.
don't
I've seen
assume
him-
this. You do not
don't
assume
assume
that this is translating from college to NFL. From my side,
Yeah.
like nothing against Etienne. I think I do think he is a Swiss Army type player. I do think he
Yeah,
is that
he really
LeVon
is.
Bell type running back, or that Christian McCaffrey type running back. The problem is there's an assumption that he can play running back at the NFL at the highest level in the NFL right off the bat without actually giving him snaps to start getting used to it. And I'm like, I'm not angry that he's being trained to run as a wide receiver. Awesome. Yeah, that's another skill in your pocket. That's going to come in handy. And it's great because your quarterback already has this innate understanding of what your running back's going to do. So yeah, you're a little ahead of the game. You're still making such a giant assumption that this kid is an NFL or a starting NFL running back without even giving him the snaps to start playing. So if this doesn't go well for him and he has not had the practice time at his actual position, like Meyer's going to get absolutely roasted. It's not on Travis's. It's not his fault. But like I think it's the wrong move. I think you're setting him up for failure.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because like you already know he can. Like I know he can do that. I don't know if Meyer knows he can do that. Clearly,
Quite
because he's
likely.
making him. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense because like he is. Like you're right. It's not the same. There's a learning curve to joining the NFL. Like every player will be able to tell you that there is a learning curve. For him to just assume that he'll be fine as a running back.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I feel like he's just wasting his time. Like I think it's important that he's doing those wide receiver drills with him and taking snaps at wide receiver. However, I think that shouldn't take up most of his training.
Yeah.
Like most of his on-field snaps shouldn't be at wide receiver. You need to prepare him for the NFL, for the position that he's going to be playing most of the time.
Yeah, and I don't see an argument that could be made at all supporting moving Travis over to wide receiver. Like he is a running back, so it's not like we're watching a situation where you have one of the most common things to occur during rookie mini camps is you'll see a quarterback, a lower drafted quarterback, so not your first rounders, being moved from quarterback to receiver. That is like the most common thing to happen is an undrafted quarterback or a lower drafted quarterback will become a wide receiver. I mean, Julian Edelman was a receiver, was a quarterback at Kent State, and now he became a receiver in the league. So that's common, but a running back to a wide receiver is not a common thing. That is not the same build.
If that's something that he wants to do, however, I feel like if that's something he wanted to do, he was in college for 4 years. That's something he could have explored, and he didn't. He spent the 4th year becoming a better running back, and now you're having him train to take snaps at wide receiver. That doesn't make sense to me.
For like a gadget play, potentially. Like,
and it's like, but like I said again, he can do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they're wasting their time on something like that. Again, like I don't want to say it's a waste of time because he should be practicing those things. But again, he has other things that he should be worrying about. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and then with a shorter preseason, so we'll get right into it. The NFL has already announced previously that there will only be a 3-game preseason this year.
At least there's a preseason this year.
Exactly, and that's going to really help some teams like the Patriots. So I'm happy to see it.
We saw a lot of injuries out of the back last season just because you didn't have preseason to work out the kinks and get that like warm up on the field in. So I am really happy that they are having a preseason. I think they said something about, I read somewhere that like all of the staff and like players for the teams are able to be vaccinated by the time the season starts. So I
Yeah,
think it's gonna be fun.
I mean, the U.S. is well ahead of Canada
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of vaccines, so that's good. Now, I'm not one to delve really deep into the preseason. It's ironic considering how much I love football and how much I follow it even in the off
Hmm.
season. But the preseason always to me has just been like, oh, okay, cool. Here are some rookies or some young guys that
Yeah.
are getting a chance. I'll hear about it at the end. Do
Hmm.
you like watching the preseason?
Well, yes, I do because that's when all of the rookies get to go on the field and like brush out their kinks, right? So, of course, I'm excited to watch it because it's like that's the first time they're like stepping on the field with the fans and the crowd, the like everything like the atmosphere. So like I just like watching them play and they're like first like even though it's preseason, like that's the first time they're stepping into like an NFL game, right? So, I mean, for me because I love watching college football, like yes, I do enjoy watching the preseason. But yeah, a lot of people will just catch the highlights or read the articles about the rookies that are doing well, or they might just, watch their team's preseason games. Like, also, I just miss football so much in the off season that like preseason, I'll watch anything, right? So,
Yeah, I think
like, of
last
course, I'm
year,
gonna watch preseason.
I think it was ironic because last year you were the one that got me to watch preseason.
There wasn't a preseason last year.
Or sorry, it was like 2 years ago that you talked me into watching the preseason, and then yeah,
It was
last year I
probably
was like,
because I probably made you watch the game I was at.
yeah, exactly that. And then
That was
last
two
season
years
there
ago,
was none. Gosh, I forget what day we are sometimes.
right?
So yes, when you went to the Steelers Chiefs game is when I watched the preseason. And then I cannot wait for next year's preseason because my boy Spencer Radler is going to be in the league. I
That's gonna
can't
be
wait.
exciting.
Can't
I'm
wait.
really excited to see him play in the NFL. I'm also really excited to see him play this season in college, so it's
Can't
gonna be
wait to
really
discuss
exciting.
that.
Oh boy.
I just hope he does well. But yeah, three preseason games. That was pretty controversial for some of the players because it meant that you were getting less time to practice and get ready for the start of the season. But for the fans, it came at a great benefit to us. So because there's three preseason games, we have we have a 17 game season. And we will always from now on, or for at least for the foreseeable future, it will be a 17 game season.
How long has it been since they've added a week
Oh, I did
or
know
two?
this.
Do you
Ooh,
know?
I
I
did
never
know.
looked
I
it
need to
up.
search it because I know the other
I'm
cool
very
trivia
curious.
fact is that the Patriots were the only team to go 16-0. Sadly, they also lost in the Super Bowl. No.
I still want to know if you're gonna make a bet that they're gonna go undefeated this season.
I need to wait till it's closer in the season. So I won't bet
Okay.
on who I think the Super Bowl winners are going to be until more of the season, like more of the off
Okay.
season has occurred. Just because if let's say I don't think this will happen, but if someone like Chris Godwin or Mike Evans were to get injured in the off season, that actually I think could significantly impact.
But it's something you're thinking about doing.
Yes. But I wouldn't put a lot on it because like it's hard to do.
Yeah. I feel like even if you put a little bit of money on that, that would still be a decent payout because it's unlikely to happen. I don't know. Did I learn anything from our last episode? Am I
The odds
wrong?
change. Like so it would be more beneficial right now for me to bet on the
Now.
Bucks now or immediately after there's like a minor injury to a Buck player. So let's
Okay.
say Antonio Brown got injured.
Oh no.
You would see the odds get a little better for me as a
Yeah.
bettor because he's not your first wide receiver. He's not your best player, but he still was, especially in the Super Bowl, a really nice gadget to have, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think you said in the last episode, like he's their third option. Like
Yeah.
that's three. Like
That's
that's pretty
so
good for
disgusting.
three.
So it looks like since 1966 is when there's been a 16 game season. However, it's only been
Ew.
since, sorry. I think it was since 98 is when you started to see a bye week.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
are they
that's,
starting a week earlier this year?
no,
Like,
it's going a week. So the Super Bowl will be played 1 week later in February than
Oh, it's
ever
not going
before.
to be the first. It's not going to be the first weekend of
Second week
February
now.
like it
It's
always.
the 13th.
Oh, so is that's the long weekend, isn't it? Maybe. Is it the one after? Did they just put this? Did they just make everyone's
Long
day
weekend better.
by putting it on the long weekend?
Yeah, I
Because like
don't know.
it's on a Sunday night, right?
Yeah, I don't know. My calendar's being really bad right
I'm not
now.
gonna try and look it up, but that's something that we can look forward to if that's true.
Oh, no, yeah, and correction. Sorry. It's 1978 is when the first
Okay.
16 game season happened. Then it kind of fluttered throughout the 80s because like I have 1978 to 1981 and then 1983. So it like seemingly goes in and out of being a 16 game schedule. And then come 1994, yeah, basically from 94 onwards, it's been 16. Basically our entire lives.
Oh no, literally my entire life.
I don't know what I
Damn.
don't know what they did in 93 they did an additional bye week, so that's why it was 18 weeks instead of 17 weeks for a regular season.
Okay.
Because if it weren't for that, I also would only be 16 game season. 91. So yeah, I'm excited for the 17 game season, but I just realized before we went live that when we had 8-8 teams with the 16 game schedule, it sounded okay. Like when the Cowboys would go 8-8 or the Steelers would go 8-8, didn't sound great, didn't sound terrible. You were middle of the pack, and in some cases you even made the playoffs. Now we're gonna have 8-9 teams, and that just sounds horrible. Same with 9-8.
Well, I mean, you might have an 8-1.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna bank on the fact that won't happen. But like an 8-9 team sounds bad. And then for me, I knew the Patriots were gonna win the Super Bowl if they went 12-4 in a season. You knew it because they would win. It was like 12-4, 13-3, and then 14-2. Whenever they had that, they were in the Super Bowl and they were likely winning it. And so I was just like, yeah, let's go 12-4. Those are cool. 12-5 sounds terrible. Like, we're going to have 10-7 teams. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch this.
I am excited to see like what records make it from the divisions. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you said, because like before you had like 8-8 and they would still make it. So it's like, is an 8-9 team gonna make it?
Like, you're going to have 13-4 teams. You're going like a 13 win team's going to have 4 losses, which I understand to a lot of the listeners. They're like, yeah, great math. That's what 17, like, good job. But these are numbers that you're just like, they used to sound so good. A 13-3 season is fantastic.
But I think like if you put it into perspective, like 13 is still a lot of games to win in a 17 game season. Like I understand that like you're adding a loss potentially to that record, but 13 is still like really good. Like I think you have to focus on that. Like because you're adding a week, of course there's potentially going to be an extra loss, but there's also potential for an extra win.
Yeah, but that extra loss could put you out of the playoffs.
That's true. That's very crucial.
I mean,
take it
great
back.
for me. It's great for our show too, because it means there's going to hopefully be more games that matter this season.
Yeah.
And
I think
speaking
there
of this
will.
season, we got the NFL schedule. And oh my God, I am so excited. Do you have any like overall thoughts? did you see any games from the release that you're like, ooh, I'm going to check that out, even though it doesn't have your team in it per se?
Well, I'm definitely excited to watch any and all of the Jaguars games. I think the Jags play the Jets. It's like going to be,
Yeah, 1 versus 2.
yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited to see Lawrence versus Wilson. That game, I don't know what week that is. I can't remember. I just remember seeing that they were playing each other, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be good.
Oh, we'll highlight those weeks as they come up, but more just in general. Like, we're so far out from the schedule. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't-
Opening night, like opening night is the Bucks versus the Cowboys. So I think I'm kind of skirting our loose rule here because, like, obviously I kind of do care about the Buccaneers, but I'm a Pats fan, so I'm counting this as not one of my teams. And that's a game that's just going to be so fun to watch, hopefully, because Dak's going to be back and it's Brady versus America's team, quote unquote. And it's
There's
just
gonna be
exciting.
a lot of hype for that one.
That one's exciting.
Sure.
I can't wait to watch your team, the Chiefs, play the Bills.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a good one too.
And I can't wait for it only because I've seen a lot of articles recently written on NFL Network that are focusing on the fact that they think the Bills can sweep the division again. And let me tell you, I will confidently bet right now the Patriots will beat the Bills this year. They will not sweep the Bills, but we will go 1-1 against the Bills this season. I will bet on that. So I
don't know. I wish that both of them could lose that game, but I know that can't be the outcome.
Listen, couple years from now, it will be Mac Jones, baby, taking out your lovely Pat Mahomes.
No. No. Do you
want to know my dumb thought?
I'm seeing it in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, stop.
I will be obnoxious if that happens.
I know you will. That's why I don't want it to happen.
Ugh, go Patriots. But
yeah, no, that one's gonna be exciting. And then I'm very excited for the very first Chiefs game is the Chiefs versus Browns.
Yeah.
And the last time we played them, we had our backup quarterback in there throw that fucking
that was bad.
Play to Tyreek Hill. Fucking risky, man. That was an intense game. Yeah, I'm excited to see that again because hopefully Patrick Mahomes will play the entire time and we won't have to have a nail biter like that, but it'll be exciting because that was the last game the Browns played because they were out after that. So they have to start the season by playing us after having that happen to them.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I also look forward to seeing any of Kyler Murray's games. Like any of the Cardinals games are going to be phenomenal. Like I am going to look at my phone right now. Sorry guys, but it's because I saw a really nice post that broke down the difficulty of each team's schedule.
Okay.
Right? And the Browns have actually a higher than average or a harder than average schedule. And I was so jazzed about watching the Browns, but I'm concerned for them. And they're going to have to start the season facing a team that I would anticipate is going to be the cream of the crop in the AFC. As much as it hurts to say it, it's like right now it's the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Titans are becoming hot. I won't obviously count out the Patriots, but the Browns are going to have it tough, and it's a hard schedule for them. Where then you have teams like Atlanta, who are middle of the pack, the opposition. So it's based off of opposition win percentage. So you average how many games each team that you are playing has won, right? And they're middle of the pack, and I'm like, oh, cool. The reason I'm bringing this up and the reason this is important is basically what it means is how the schedule's designed if you don't watch football or don't follow football as closely is you don't play every team once in the league. Rather, you play your division once away, once home. So twice a season. And then from all the remaining teams, you play, if you did well last season and you finished high in the season, you play the harder opponents, right? And so where Arizona. I keep saying Atlanta. Where Arizona was middle of the pack, and they were starting to hit their stride. So there's going to be a couple of games for the bettors out there that are going to be very nice to bet on because they will absolutely cover the spread. They will absolutely score enough points to cover the spread and make sure that your bet is a winning bet. And I can't wait to watch them. I can't wait for them to I can't even describe it. I'm so excited.
I have another question for you about this year's schedule, because I believe it's the Lions have a very unique opportunity this season to complete what is called the Bird Gauntlet. So their schedule includes every bird team in the NFL, and I don't know if it's never been done before, if it hasn't been done in a long time, but to beat every one of the bird teams in one season. So they have that opportunity. I was going to ask if you think they actually have a chance of doing that.
Not a chance. Absolutely zero chance.
Like, it's a really cool thing, but then it's like, let's give this task to the Lions. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah. So there have been 2 teams that have previously done the Bird Gauntlet.
There we go.
You have the Cowboys.
Or won it.
Have won it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last 2 teams to run the gauntlet were the Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. And both of them did it in the 92 season.
Damn.
Then you had the Ravens. Something happened with a Ravens interception, so I can't find any clear evidence as to whether or not it meant that No, I get it. So in 92 was the last time there was a Bird Gauntlet done. However, that did not include the Ravens because the Ravens were not a team at that point.
Okay.
That's it. I was like, yeah, I forgot. There's something about the
Ravens. So no one's ever done it with the Ravens as a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the Lions. I thought another team had a chance to do the gauntlet this year, but it must have only been the Lions.
Right. The only one I read about was the Lions, so I'm not too sure if there was another team out there that is running it as well this season, but...
Yeah, it might just be the Lions. But I saw that too. I think they have zero chance. They have absolutely no chance.
I mean, what's gonna be funny is like they're probably like watch them win like the first 1 or 2 and people like, oh, and then fuck it up.
Well, okay, so on the chart that I'm looking at that looks at the strength of the schedule, the Detroit Lions are the 7th hardest schedule.
Oof.
Okay? They do not have a great team. The only reason they've done any semblance of okay was because they had Matt Stafford, who is no longer a Lion. He's gone.
Yep.
They got Goff in return.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not going to do better than Stafford and the Lions did beforehand. So, no, you're going to have to face the Ravens, who are good. Like, they are really good.
Cardinals.
You're going to have to face the Cardinals. That's not happening. Like, right now, the Cardinals are the better team. The Falcons, they might win that game. The Lions might beat the Falcons. Then they have to play the Seahawks.
And the Eagles.
Yeah, they might beat the Eagles, but that's because the Eagles are...
That one might be a close game.
And this isn't actually me trying to shit on the Eagles. It's one of those where it actually might be one of the weird games, because inevitably the Eagles lose some games that they're not supposed to lose.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
just
like
something happens and you're like, what did you guys just do? It's like you look away for, like, they're doing good, so you look away for 5 minutes and then you look back and it's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and like right now it's the Eagles have the easiest schedule of every team, And then right after them is the Dallas Cowboys. And it's just like, of course the teams. No, it makes sense with how the schedule is made. So, yeah, you would figure that those teams would be right next to each other. But, like, it's a no wonder that anytime I look away when I assume the Eagles have the division wrapped up, that suddenly the Cowboys are in conversation. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. But no, to answer your question, there's absolutely zero chance that I think the Lions will complete the gauntlet. And if they do,
I wonder if there's a cat one. Is there a cat gauntlet? Like a
maybe in hockey. So you have what? Panthers, Coyotes.
I don't know.
I can't go. I can't do all the NHL teams right now off the top of my head, but like maybe in the NHL. So yeah, not a chance. I would love to see it done in my lifetime though, because that's a cool little trivia question. So we covered the 2 games you're looking forward to on the schedule.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm going to say mine's the most obvious of anything, but Brady's coming to town week 4. And
I hope Mac Jones is in at that point.
If I'm being honest, I don't see him playing against Tom Brady in week 4 of this season.
I want to see that so bad.
And that's why you won't see it.
I know.
Exactly that reason, right? Because you're now taking a kid who, well, the Patriots did draft him. They weren't necessarily that wasn't exactly who they were going to do, right?
Yeah.
Even if you look into, now we have access to the draft rooms, right? So you watch the video of Belichick getting ready to draft Mac Jones, and even then you don't get the sense that that was who he was going to draft. It was more like, oh, he fell to me, I guess I'm drafting him. Like, it wasn't, yes, he came to us. Like, I know Belichick's really good at masking his emotions, but even then, like, watching him, like, oh, I don't, like, he kind of debated not drafting him.
Well, I think maybe they were planning the draft thinking he wasn't going to be available, right? So like, it's really hard to make that last minute decision when you've been planning for so long.
Exactly.
I'll get this player. So it's like, do I go with what I had planned, or do I go with this player I didn't think I'd have a chance to get?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that's exactly who they thought they were going to get or wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not happy they have him, but it's not who they necessarily wanted. We do have Cam Newton, and this is going to be
pay off in the long run.
Absolutely, I agree. But week 4, I don't think I'm embellishing it. This is going to be the biggest game of the season.
Absolutely.
And it might be the biggest game we will have ever gotten to watch to this point.
I just want to make a point that Trudeau has noted that the border should be open by the end of the summer, and we will be vaccinated by September. So, like, you want to go to this game?
I'm not paying. Do you see the prices on those tickets right now?
You know what? I don't want to know.
Insane.
I don't want to know.
But like, this is being marketed, rightfully so, as the game of the decade, right? So
yeah,
why would you put your rookie and the guy that you are planning to be your future? Because I think we can say that even though Belichick didn't necessarily want to take him, he still spent a first-round draft pick on that quarterback. That is supposed to be our quarterback of the future. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you don't set him up for failure. You don't. And maybe Cam's injured, and then, yeah, maybe you do put him in there. But I've already said, and I'm going to say it again, I do not think this game answers who is the better part of that dynasty. I think Brady comes to town and wins. As much as I'd love to say Belichick would shut Brady down, and that it's Belichick's game, and the NFL has set Brady up to lose this game. Like, if you look at the schedule before and the traveling that the Bucs are going to be doing over the first 3 weeks, yeah, it looks like the Patriots have been set up to win. I don't see Brady going into town and losing. I don't. So I wouldn't put my rookie quarterback in against the greatest quarterback of all time. at home where you're expected to beat him after he just left your team. Like, no.
Like, it's also like, it's not just Tom Brady, right? Like, the Bucks are fucking stacked. So, like, it's not just like, will Tom Brady beat his old team? It's like, the Buccaneers are probably going to beat the Patriots. Like, that's the point people should be making, not, is Tom Brady going to do good back in Gillette Stadium? Like, he'll be fine.
Now, I hope, the one thing I'm worried about that game, I'm super excited for that game. It's a Sunday night game. You will not get me on that recording on Sunday night. Not a chance. I will be watching that game.
I'm sorry. We're never recording on a Sunday night, so I don't know why you said that. Because I will also be watching football on Sunday nights.
But it's just, no one's going to get me on that night. I can't wait to put that on. But
phone is on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. Everyone leave me the fuck alone because I'm going to be watching my quarterback come back to my team. And it's going to be so bittersweet for me. I'm going to be so excited to watch it. I'll have both my jerseys out and I'll just have them both out. I won't wear either because I don't care who wins. I could not care less who wins.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what kind of, like, if well, I assume they're going to do some sort of tribute for him to, like, welcome him back. But, like, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do, like, before the game for him, if they do anything before the game for him. I would hope so.
They will. What I'm concerned about is that the fans are notorious for being
bad.
Yeah, they have.
And I feel like it's different with Tom Brady.
Well, and I thought
a lot of people that I know that are Brady fans are like, yeah, I'm upset he left, but, like, I still love Tom Brady. So I don't know if maybe it's going to be like because they're in the stadium and it's game time, they're going to be like, boo, because, like, obviously they're playing against the Patriots. But I feel like there are a lot of fans who have respect for him and, like, can't hate him because he's so good.
So I'm not concerned about before or after the game. It's during the game. Yeah. It's like, I don't think he deserves to be booed. This dude gave us 20 years of unparalleled success. And if any of the reports coming out from Patriot Land now are true, it was miserable for him for a lot of it. So it's like, why boo him? If he consistently took a team-friendly contract and wanted to stay in Boston and play for New England, he doesn't deserve the booing or anything. Like,
I don't think drunk fans are thinking about that when Tom Brady is winning against their team in the middle of a game.
No, but it's funny because I do worry about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. Because, like, when Vinatieri came back, when he left for the Colts, even though he was just a kicker, they were ruthless to him. This is the dude that won them a Super Bowl. Ruthless. So it will be a fun game for me to watch. And then I'm also excited to play the Bills. The Patriots versus the Bills. I already said it earlier. I want them to go 1-1. I'd like to see the Bills lose again. And then I guess before we conclude the episode, I always find it really funny to see other, sports writers predict their team's season record. And I always thought it was so lame. But hilariously enough, I kind of want to know what you think your team's record's going to be.
I'm terrible at these kinds of things.
I mean, yeah, this is super early. We haven't even seen them play. Like, we don't really know the teams they're actually playing besides from the name of the team.
All I know is there will be more wins than losses.
Okay, where in the table are you going to be?
What do you mean?
Like, in the AFC conference, where in the table are you going to be? First, like, do you think they're going to get the bye? Are they going to be second? Like, we can already assume they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're going to be in the top there. Do they get the bye? Maybe. I think that's going to depend on how well our O-line is doing. Because that's the thing we haven't seen yet. It's how our new pieces of our O-line work, right? So I think it's going to be dependent on that if we take the bye, but yeah, definitely they're going to be back in the playoffs for sure. I think a lot of people have been talking about, potentially another Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl. Like that's like it's not maybe not like yeah, that's definitely going to happen, but it's something very likely that'll happen again. I'm not going to say that
Oh,
'cause
that's what I think's gonna happen.
right. Well, you know what? You are more confident in your guessing than I am. But I, yeah, I definitely think they're going to be in the top somewhere for sure. I don't want to say they're going to be like, 16-1.
Oh, come on,
but
come on, just guess.
no.
Imagine if you nailed it.
No, because you know what? I'm bad at math, so I'm trying to think like, okay, if they win like this many games, then it would have to be like
Okay,
this many
how many
losses. And I'm
wins? How many wins do you think your team's gonna have?
out of like 17 is the regular season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember who we play.
You're gonna be playing
the only one
upper
I
third.
can think of off of my hand is going to be the hardest for us is probably the Chargers.
Yeah, that one will be hard.
I don't want to say it's going to be hard, but it's going to be close, very close. So those ones are hard to say, like, would they, won't they win? And we play them twice.
Yeah, you have a really hard
those are,
schedule,
like,
actually.
Those are two that I'd be like, we would maybe lose. So it's like definitely two losses there. Maybe not, I don't want to say definitely, like maybe two losses there.
You think around what, 14-3 or 15-2?
Yeah, I would say that one of those. I can't confidently pick one because I don't like picking things.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I guess somewhere around there. Like I definitely like we fucking lost to the Raiders last season. So like there's no like I obviously can't sit here and be like, yeah, we're gonna have like an undefeated regular season. Like I can't say that because we fucked up last season with the one of the worst defensive playing teams we lost to. So it was bad. Exactly. It was bad. So like it's no telling what's going to happen with that. So yeah, I would say somewhere around maybe 14-15 wins.
Okay.
Top
14-3.
Top of the conference.
Yeah.
Maybe have the bye. Like last season was like so nice for me to watch because I'm pretty sure the only game we lost in the regular season was to the Raiders. Was it the Raiders and the Chargers or just the Raiders? I think it was just the Raiders.
All I know is the moment that they lost, I just roasted you because I was like, told you they're not going perfect.
Cam roasted me. Cam was so excited because he's a Raiders fan. I did not hear the end of it from him. He was shit talking me the rest of the evening.
That's funny. It's fun. I think the Bucks, if the Bucks can beat the Patriots in week 4, I do think they go perfect.
Yeah.
Is
that your only game that you're concerned about?
Yeah, they have like the easiest. They have the 4th easiest schedule next season, and the only reason their schedule is so easy, even though they had won the Super Bowl, is because you still have to play your division twice, each team, and the division is good, but you've lost Drew Brees from that division. You have all the. It's just there's so many new things, so much turnover with the other 3 teams in their division that it's like it's not that bad, and then you still have to play the other teams in your division in the NFC.
Yeah,
is the NFC.
This season is really hard to make predictions for because of like how much movement there was and how much. Like there was so much new talent coming in from the draft. So it's like, and they're also like a lot of them are going to be starters. So it's going to be really interesting to see because it's like we can sit here and make assumptions about what we think is going to happen. But the truth is there's a lot of variables moving into the season. There's a lot of movement and it's made me even more excited because it's like I said, we can think all these things, but we really don't know until the season starts.
Well, it's funny because like I find I'm actually having a little bit of an easier time with the Patriots schedule. Like the Bucks, I truly do think like that's not me just being like up Brady's butt or anything. It's like, no, I do think if Brady's ever going to get a perfect season, this is probably his best shot.
You know what? If he's going to retire after a perfect season, I'll let him have it and he can gladly exit the fucking door.
Yeah, right? So it's like I do think, but then with the Patriots, the only like I've been flip-flopping between 10-7 and 11-6 because I know they're going to lose. They are going to lose. Like Cam is unpredictable. Maybe we do put Mac Jones in. maybe we have to change, like maybe the tight end game, going back to what they used to run with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez as the two tight ends. Maybe that does really well for Cam, but they're gonna lose. They're going to lose games, and the teams in the AFC have just gotten stronger. So it'll be fun for me to watch, but I think they will make the playoffs. I will say the Patriots make the playoffs. I'm going to go with 11-6.
Last year was the first year they hadn't made it
Since 2008.
Damn.
And that the only reason they didn't make it in 2008 is because Brady got injured. That was the year he tore his ACL.
So it was the 2 years they didn't make it to the playoffs. It's because Brady wasn't there.
Huh.
Interesting. I think that's a very good place to top it off.
Yeah, well,
Let
we'll
you
see.
think about that one. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and join us next week when we finally discuss some college football. It is the last podcast of the month, so it'll be a college special. So we're going to dive into the NCAA, talking about the potential to be paying college athletes, Clemson's new quarterback, because they had Trevor Lawrence move over to the NFL. And then we also have Spencer Radler from the Oklahoma Sooners, who's been getting a lot of attention right now heading into the college season. So we're going to dive into that next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. Let us know in the comments what games you're excited for this upcoming season. Let us know what you think some teams' records are going to be. We want to hear from you guys as well. But until then, we'll see you guys, or we'll see you next week.
Chat next
Bye.
week. Peace.
Listen in to Primetime Dimes every Wednesday for your latest on football.